Okay, we are recording. So happy Team Call Tuesday. I've been really enjoying this vital behavior kind of call series just because that's how we build our business. Couple things before we get into it. One, I'm hosting the Shred Nation call tomorrow. It's also on inviting, so I'm essentially going to be doing this call again. If you guys have another training you want to listen to, I'm not going to be offended if you don't hop on the call. The one thing I will say is that since those calls tend to last a little bit longer, the training piece won't be longer, but as questions come in, I'm hoping to have time to kind of dig deeper into questions, and that might be kind of additional information and training that comes. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. Rob wants to do a training on inviting tomorrow for Shred Nation, so it's going to be very similar to this unless I get some questions from him ahead of time that people have asked. So just kind of keep that in mind. Obviously would love to see your things on the call, but wanted to just let you guys know that it's going to be similar to today. Other things, the $20 off the Ultimate Portion Fix Challenge Packs goes till the end of May, which is pretty sweet. So it's not ending in April. Those deals are still available, as well as $10 off the base kit. That all goes till May 31st. And you guys will get this in your email tomorrow. The kind of challenge pack deal for May is that any challenge pack purchase in May will include instant access to the 21-day fix real-time workouts rather than them having to wait until May 31st where they're both new programs are added. So any challenge pack purchase in May, any date, they get instant access to 21-day fix reshoot, but not the fix extreme reshoot, and that's because that's still happening. But either way, both will be uploaded into Beachbody On Demand on May 31st. We do have our Business Builder group that is open for May. The requirements for that are to hit Success Club in April and to be an Emerald or above coach. So obviously it's the last day of April. It is only 8:30. There is still time to hit Success Club. So the Business Builder group is just kind of a group separate than our standard team page that will focus more specifically on business building training, not necessarily kind of all things fitness and Beachbody, which is in our team page. So it's just a little bit more specific, but that is open and available. And then once you're in that group, you do need to get Success Club each month to stay in the group. The cool thing is that even if you are removed from it one month, the second you hit Success Club, you are added back in. So kind of just an extra incentive to reach that goal. And that's pretty much all I have in terms of what's going on. Actually, give me 1 second really quick, sorry. This is not related to the training tonight, but I want to keep you guys up to date on some upcoming stuff. Here we go. For May. So we are going to do I'm going to do, you guys are obviously welcome to do it with me. I'm going to be doing a coach sneak peek on May 22nd. So for new coaches, a sneak peek is just an informational group that we run on either Instagram or Facebook, or we host a Zoom where we invite people who are interested in learning about the business to join in for free to see if they want to join the team. So we're going to be doing that on May 22nd. It is a Wednesday. Our new coach group training call for May will be on May 25th. That's a Saturday. And I have so much travel going on this month. We are not going to do a Sunday call this month. What we'll do is something similar to what we did last week, which is kind of just find a training that we can all listen to together and then have kind of like a little check off power hour list type thing that we can all kind of do and just comment on. So we're not going to have a Sunday call this month. New coach call the 25th, coach sneak peek on the 22nd. And then just to keep you in the loop on how I'm going to be inviting before we get into actually how I invite. Yesterday I began inviting to 21 Day Fix Extreme / my challenge group. Tomorrow I'll be going through my back office and looking at which Beachbody On Demand renewals are coming up for my customers and making sure that I'm reaching out to all of all customers who have their Beachbody On Demand account renewing in May, whether it's quarterly, biannual, or annual membership, reaching out to them and letting them know about challenge pack discounts so that they can save money. I'm closing enrollment for my challenge group on May 12th, and then immediately beginning May 13th to invite to our coach sneak peek. So that's when I'm shifting to inviting to the business. And then after the sneak peek, I'll be starting to invite to an Ultimate Portion Fix group. So we kind of did a beta group using the challenge group guide last month in April, or this month, I guess it's still April. I'm going to be doing an official Ultimate Portion Fix group in June. And so come towards the end of May, that's what I'm going to start to invite to. Anything that you guys want to participate in, you are welcome to participate in. So I just want to keep you up to date on what I'm running so that you can decide, you know what, hey, I would like to co-run that group. Hey, I want to add some customers to that group, and you're more than welcome to do that. Okay, so inviting. This is going to be similar to a lot of things that you guys have heard from me before, but our team has been growing a lot, and I'm hearing more and more coaches share this on more and more platforms that they are also following this technique. And so I want to revisit it again because this is what's working for a lot of people. And so I want to make sure that everyone is comfortable with at least giving it a try or considering it or making it their own, because this is what the coaches on the National Wake Up Call are teaching. This is what we're learning now at these leadership conferences. And so this is something that I want to make sure everybody understands and can kind of play around with in their own way. So I have notes on my phone and in my notebook because this week has been a crazy one and it's only Tuesday. So I'm going to start by going over general inviting tips, and then I'm going to get into the specifics of how I invite and give some examples, okay? So general tips, when you're inviting, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, whatever, make sure you're using people's first names. If you can't find their first name on their profile, use your own language. So like if I don't know someone's name, or if I'm talking to a close friend of mine, it's normal for me to say like, hey girl, or hey girlfriend, or even hey doll, depending on the like I speak that way. If you don't speak that way, don't say those things, because as you have the conversations, it will become apparent that that's not your normal way of speaking. Plus, if people can read your posts on your feed or listen to your stories and you're not talking that way, it's not going to be genuine. So you'll see examples where people say like, hey girl, or hey babe, something like that. But if you don't talk like that, don't say it. And even if you do talk like that, try to use somebody's first name. It's just nicer and better received. So most of the time you can figure out someone's name by looking at their profile. Next, this is something that has come up a few times. You obviously, before you invite anybody, you want to take a look at their profile. If it's pretty apparent that they are a coach or working with Beachbody, don't invite them because they already have a coach, or or they're a coach themselves. This isn't always the case, but more often than not, it is. And I actually did this technique that I'm going to teach you on inviting the other day, and somebody responded back and said, if you had looked at my profile, you would see that I'm already a coach. And my response back was, well, your profile is private and your bio doesn't say anything about you being a coach. So I do apologize for the misconception. I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. But if somebody is a coach and you can't tell by looking at their profile, that's not something wrong that you did. And also it should make you do a self-check and say, if someone's looking at my page, can they tell that I'm a coach? Because if you're a coach working this business, you want to make sure people know that you're a coach. And you do want to take the time to look at their profile. So make sure you're taking a look. You don't have to scour their posts from the past year, but make sure you're looking at a few scrolls on their feed, what their bio says. If they have a link tree, click it, because maybe that links to like a Google form that talks about Beachbody. You just want to make sure you are looking into the person that you're inviting, but realizing, that you don't need to take weeks or months to follow them before you invite them. And then my next tip, I know I say this all the time, but invite to what you're doing. This is specifically for a challenge group. Don't just invite to a challenge group randomly. Don't say, do you want to join my challenge group or do you want to work out? Unless you have a plan to have a conversation about a specific program. It's just way more easier to share and invite to the program that you're doing. And then you can take the conversation elsewhere as the conversation happens. But you want to be really clear about what you're inviting to and not vague, so that people say like, yeah, I am interested in 21 Day Fix Extreme, or what is Lift for, or what's 80-day obsession. You know, you want to be specific about inviting to the thing that you're sharing, which brings me to my next point. You need to be sharing what you're doing, because otherwise you're going to send these invites and people are going to have no idea what you're talking about, and they're not going to be able to do their little background stalker on you and check to see what you're doing. You want people to do that. You want people to check out your profile when you reach out to them. Next, have a plan and invite to both the business side and the customer side every single month. That's why I wanted to share with you guys my plan for May, so that I have specific days and weeks that I know, okay, every day for the next 2 weeks, I'm inviting to my challenge group. And then every day for the next 2 weeks after that, I'm inviting to the business. And then it goes back to inviting to a challenge group. So you want to touch both sides, because to build your business, you need customers and you need coaches. They're both equally important. You need both. So I know a lot of coaches will say only invite to the business and then default to customer. I don't necessarily believe that to be true, especially once we get into how I invite. You'll realize that when you get to a certain point of your invite with a customer, you actually will also be inviting to the business. So it all really ties together. And then the last week of each month, make sure that you revisit the conversations that you had earlier in the month, or anybody who wasn't ready last month, and give them the opportunity to get information on your next month's challenge group before you post about it publicly. This is just showing them like, hey, I care about you. You shared these goals with me. You said the timing wasn't right. Before I post about this on my Instagram, I wanted to see if you'd like first dibs on a spot. This does a couple things. One, it helps you lock in Success Club for the month that you're in if you haven't yet hit it. And two, it helps you to almost guarantee, nothing is guaranteed, but it helps you to be in a way better spot to hit Success Club in the first week of the coming month. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay, this is a mindset thing, and I know you guys know I feel this way as well, but Instagram, and that's what I'm mainly going to be talking about here. Instagram is your storefront, right? So would you be annoyed at a store clerk if you walked into a boutique and the store owner said, hey, can I help you find anything? No, you walked into their store. So if someone is following you, if someone is watching your stories, if someone is liking your posts, that's them walking into your store. Don't be afraid to invite them. It's very possible that they're not interested and that they'll say no, but they still chose to follow you. You didn't make them follow you. You didn't click it from their phone. You didn't force them to do it. They chose to do it. They're in your store. And I want you to just use that fact as a confidence boost to say, hey, I can reach out to this person. And that's why I don't believe that reaching out to followers, even if they haven't liked your post or voted in your poll, I don't actually see that as a cold invite, because they're following me. They're in my store. So they might not know me personally, but we're using our social media daily. We're sharing on our stories, which gives insight into our lives, into our personality. We're sharing on our feeds. They know what my page is about. They walked into my store, so I feel confident reaching out to them. And we'll talk about how to reach out to people in different ways in a second. So this is my general order of doing things. When I invite, I reach out via direct message, and the same thing can work on Facebook, it can work on Shaper, it can work on LinkedIn, whatever platform you're using. But I reach out and I invite people to learn more about what I'm offering. So I'm not saying, hey, do you want to join my challenge group? I'm not saying, hey, do you want to buy Shakeology? I'm saying, hey, would you like to learn more about this fitness group that I'm running? Would you like to read an ebook or watch a video or get some information on the shake that I'm always posting about? So we're always inviting to learn, not inviting to purchase. Because if someone reached out immediately and was like, hey, can I please have $160 for this challenge group? You'd be like, no, what the hell is a challenge group? You're inviting them to learn more information, and then they make the decision. After you offer them information, if they say yes, you want to keep your descriptions either very brief or use a third-party resource. Because remember, we want to keep this process simple and streamlined, because whether you know it or not, or whether you're inviting to the business or not, people remember how you reached out to them and how complicated or uncomplicated your conversation was while you were sharing this information. And if it's a really drawn out, complicated thing, it's going to be really hard for them to picture themselves doing that as well. If they like the general description, and we're going to get into examples of this too, but if they like the general description, step 3 is to get their email and to offer to send the different options via email or get them on the phone. And here's why you want to do one of those two things. You want to take it off social media. If you woke up tomorrow and Instagram or Facebook wasn't a thing, would your business survive? Would you still have contacts that you could talk to and start to rebuild that foundation? And the likelihood of that happening is obviously slim, but social media platforms have disappeared and died out. MySpace isn't really a thing anymore. Periscope, people aren't really using anymore. So things do come and go, and they change constantly. You want to have a concrete way of staying in touch with your customers, with your people, and with people that you want to continue to build relationships in this business with. So I like to get people off the social media platform as soon as I can. One, because it gives a little bit of more flexibility to have conversations in different ways. So this is where Vanessa's call would be amazing on how she gets people on the phone and what she does on the phone, but also to have a list of email contacts. That's just straight classic business. So that's why that is my step number 3. Does that make sense so far? Cool. Okay, so I'm going to give 3 examples. Again, Instagram is my main platform. We can tweak these for other platforms if that's what you're using. But I'm going to talk about and show you 3 different ways to reach out to people who are either A, following you on Instagram, B, who have watched a story, or C, who liked a post. Because you don't want to send the same thing to everybody, because they're coming in, it's almost like coming in different, it's all like different stages of being in your store, right? So reaching out to a follower is somebody who just walked in the door and you're greeting them and offering them help. Reaching out to somebody who watched a story is like talking to somebody who tried something on. And then reaching out to somebody who liked a post is like reaching out to somebody who is pulling clothes from a rack. Do you see what I'm saying? Like they're at different stages of your store, and so you want to talk to them in different ways. So let's get into examples of that initial reach out and that initial invite first. I'm going to share my screen. So if you guys want to like take a picture of any of this, obviously not this lovely one-word slide, but can you see my screen? Okay. Yeah. So this is what I say when I reach out to somebody who's following me. So I don't know if they have liked a post, and I don't know if they've watched a story, but they are following me. So they walked into my store, right? So I'll reach out and I'll say, hey, and their name. I'm not sure if you've seen my IG stories or not. You can even just say stories. But I just opened up enrollment for my next 21-day fitness challenge in my virtual boot camp and wanted to reach out and offer some info so you can see if it might be a good fit or not. If you've got a current routine that you love, that's amazing. But if not, I'd love to share some details. What do you think? So this one has a little bit more to the invite than either of the other 2. And that's because, again, I don't know how deep into my store they actually are. You'll notice that I invited to a 21-day challenge because I am doing 21-day fix. So now if they look back at my stories, they're going to see me talking about it. They're going to see me sharing clips of that workout, and then they'll actually see my invite story that says, you know, are you interested in learning about this? So that's kind of just somebody just walked into my store, they're following me. So that's how I reach out to that person. If somebody liked a post, hey, thanks so much for the love on my post yesterday about how I'm getting my nutrition back on track. It's been a slippery slope of treats lately for me. Anyway, I'm always looking for more accountability buddies. That's a word that I use all the time, and I have a shirt that says it. I'm always looking for more accountability buddies and wanted to see if you'd like some info on my virtual bootcamp and the challenge I'm currently doing. So this is related to a post that I actually put up, and I reached out to the people who liked it. My post wasn't a try 21-day fix, look at this program, do Beachbody post. It was a post talking about how lately I've been eating like mostly bagels and wine, and my nutrition has slipped and how it's affected my energy and my skin and my sleep. And then at the very bottom of that post, I do have a call to action about working together. So this kind of ties that together. So now I can reach out to anybody who liked that post. Specifically, obviously it's different than reaching out to somebody who I don't know if they've seen the post and I don't know if they've seen anything else. And then if somebody watches your stories, that's like somebody just tried on clothes in your fitting room and is coming to the cashier to get them. Like they're watching your stories, they're showing up, they see what you're doing. You don't even really need to explain anything because you know that they saw it. Hey, I noticed that you watched my stories yesterday. Thanks for being here. Would you like some info on the challenge I was talking about? Easy, short and sweet because they watched the story. So just as a side note, this is why a lot of people have started using caption on all of their stories. You don't need an app that does it. There are apps that do it automatically for you, but just like a brief summary of text on what each story is talking about helps more people be responsive to this. Because if they watch it at work or, you know, when they're on public transportation, they don't have headphones or something and they don't want the volume on, they still get your message even if they can't hear it. So if you've noticed a lot more coaches or just people in general writing captions with their stories, that's why. Because during the day, think about it, on like a Tuesday or Wednesday, most people, they'll browse their phone while they're at work or something like that, but they probably can't have the volume on. So this is how I invite to somebody who watched my story. Pretty straightforward, 3 different techniques of inviting. That's a lot of invites that you can send every single day. And then I want to get into what happens when they say yes, right? Because that's what comes next. So I don't have a share screen for that because it's very simple, and this is where we really tend to overcomplicate it because we think that we need to either A, know all the information about the program, and if it's our first time doing it, we probably don't have all of the information, or B, we think that we need to like somehow explain every facet of coaching in 140, I don't know how many characters you get in an Instagram message, but they can't be that long. Plus, you don't want to send somebody a novel and then have them be like, I don't have time for this. So when somebody says, yes, they're interested, I like to do one of 2 things. One, I'll either have a very short description. Usually that's about the program I'm doing. All I do to get the description is go to the product page on teambeachbody.com. So like teambeachbody.com, shop, and then I'll click on 21 Day Fix Extreme. And you can pick and choose the description that they use about the program. Who could describe a program better than the creators of it? Nobody. So you can change the wording around to make it sound less like, you know, it's very salesy on the website, but you're getting the main ideas of the muscle groups that it works, the type of training that it is, the length of the workouts, all of that stuff. You're getting that, and it's already written for you in a pretty little package. Copy and paste that short description and use that. If you're talking about coaching or a product like Shakeology or the beach bars, we have amazing videos that Beachbody created to help us share those products. So my favorite Shakeology video it's all over our team page. It's in the file section if you want to find it, but it's less than 1 minute long. And it talks about the nutritional value of Shakeology and like how many bowls of fruits and veggies and wheatgrass and all that stuff go into each serving. And then it also talks about the price value. So it'll say at the end, all of the nutritional things that it would take to make up Shakeology comes to like $42 a shake. So then we talk about Shakeology and we get into price, it's $130, but that means it's $4.33 per shake. So these videos just make it really helpful. The beach bar videos are so beautiful and like catchy and cool looking, and they get into everything you need to know, the flavors, the ingredients, and the nutritional facts. You don't need to say a single word about them. Share the video. So you're going to say this brief description. I guess I could pull one up right now, actually, if you want. I'm going to go to Team Beachbody. I'm going to use 21 Day Fix as an example because, again, that's what I have been doing. Let's see. Shop. These are also things that you can save in notes in your phone. So when you know, okay, for 2 weeks, I'm going to be inviting to 21 Day Fix, you can have this whole series saved in notes and then tweak it for the person that you're talking to, but at least you have the general information there, which takes away the time that a lot of people think inviting takes. So you can invite tons of people in not a lot of time if you have a plan and you're tactical about how you're inviting. The information about 21 Day Fix is the information about 21 Day Fix. It doesn't change based on who you're talking to. That information is just facts. So the greeting you have might be different. Asking for the email might be different. The conversation based on questions will be different, but the description of the program is what it is. Okay? So 6 easy-to-follow 30-minute workouts can help you see results fast. To make it even easier, we're giving you 30 days of go anywhere. Oh, wait, no, that's not a really good one. Bad example. Let me find a good one. Oh, wait, that was 21 Day Fix. Okay.
Congratulations, by the way, on being the host for tomorrow's
Thank you. I'm excited.
I bet. That sounds exciting.
All right, well, now it's not loading, so this is not a great example. But here's what I will say. The fact that it's not loading, this would add so much time to my invite. If I had just saved it in the notes section on my phone, I'd be able to pull it up. So all you're going to do is you're going to go to teambeachbody.com, click on shop, go to the program you're inviting to, and you will find brief descriptions. If you want more or you want a different description, go to the product tool page, which is in your coach online office, and pull descriptions from there. As far as third-party resources go, in our team page, if you click on files, there is a full Word document with clickable links that go to different videos for multiple different programs, for programs in different languages, for coaching, all of that stuff, and we can continuously update that list as new stuff comes out, but it's all right there for you. What I do recommend about third-party resources, especially videos, is using videos from Vimeo, V-I-M-E-O, rather than YouTube. Because the Vimeo products, the videos and what the videos lead to are more controlled than YouTube. So you can get people that will watch like 4 videos talking about how people loved 21 Day Fix, and then 4 videos talking about how 21 Day Fix sucks. And it'll be all just personal experiences, and we don't know. Maybe it didn't work for them, maybe it did, but now they're not getting just facts. Now they're getting multiple opinions as well when we want to present facts. Of course, they can do their background research. They can decide what they want to decide. They can talk to friends. They can check stuff out. But as the coach, our job is to present facts about the program and the product that we're offering. We're not looking to convince anyone of anything. We're presenting true information that then they can decide what they want. Okay, so if they read the description, you want to end with a question, right? So you want to make sure you don't just send the description and then hope that they answer. You want to send the description and end with a question. I usually like to have that question be something like, do you think this is something that you could enjoy? Or does that make sense so far? Or what questions can I answer so far? Or anything like that. So that then you're continuing the conversation. Obviously, this will change based on each person, but eventually, if this is something that they're interested in, you'll be able to tell, like, yes, I'm interested. And then you want to say, okay, great, I have multiple enrollment options. Would it be okay to send you an email so you can look them over? this is where you're pulling the email. Or if you'd rather get on the phone, say there are multiple enrollment options, I'd love to hop on the phone and go over them with you. Or if it's about coaching, I'd love to hop on the phone and talk about your goals with this business or something like that. So basically what I want you to do is get them off social media. In the email, and this is personal preference, some coaches will only offer one option. Some coaches like to offer all the different options. This is totally up to you. I usually present 2 to 3 options. One being Beachbody On Demand standalone, which a lot of coaches will say they don't do because they prefer obviously as a coach you want a challenge pack purchase, and I do too. But in the email, I urge people to go the challenge pack route, because what I do have restrictions on is, in order to be in my virtual boot camp, which is my challenge group, I need at least a 30-day commitment to a consumable. So they can go the Beachbody On Demand only route and we can work one-on-one via email. But to get access to my virtual boot camp, I need a 30-day commitment to a supplement, which is a challenge pack. So I usually offer 2 to 3 options. They'll vary based on what program I'm inviting to, but I will just go through the challenge pack options. So you know what I mean, right? The mega pack, which has like everything, the deluxe pack, which will have Shakeology and performance line, or the standard, I call it the standard pack, which has Shakeology or the performance line. Depending on how the conversation went, I may or may not even present the mega pack option. If somebody I'm talking to straight away is really, really concerned about budget, or really, really making, stressing that money is an issue, or they're not sure they're going to be able to swing it, I'm not going to present the mega pack. I will go from Beachbody On Demand to deluxe to standard to deluxe and go that route. I used to do every challenge pack option, but the more programs we release, the more challenge pack options we have. And like at one point I was listing 7 different options, and my emails were so long and confusing that it just got to be a little bit overwhelming. So that's personal preference, structuring the emails. And then I always end my email, giving them the VIP customer option, which is the discount coach option. So that's what I meant when I said when you're inviting to a challenge group, you're technically still inviting to the business, because you're giving people the opportunity to sign up for the discount to continue with their consumables. And that is pretty much it. As far as where to put your customers, especially if you are a new coach, that's why also I told you what I have going on. You can always place customers in a group with me. If you're a new coach, for your first 5 customers, I recommend you put in my challenge group with me, and we can co-run it together that way. But it's also less scary to run a challenge group than people think, right? You create a Facebook group or use my challenge tracker app, and all you're doing is showing up and asking for accountability. So you're being your own best customer. Show up, check in yourself, share your photos, share your experience, be your best customer, and then the rest will fall into place. Don't get upset if people don't comment. Don't be upset if people don't participate. You're doing your job. We tend to overthink these things and think, oh, someone's not commenting, that means my challenge group isn't good. I didn't invite correctly. I didn't set the expectation. Just breathe, relax, show up. People will start showing up the more that you show up. There's a whole other section I had written down on tracking, but that really is a separate call. And it's already after 9 o'clock, so I don't want to get too into it. But just know that you need to have a tracking system in place, even if it's just a piece of paper and a pen where you're writing down who you're inviting and how you're going to follow up. But we will do a call on that in a couple of weeks and get into specifics with it. But what do you guys think about inviting? Have you noticed other coaches talking about this shift in like really just going for the invite right away? Does that make you uncomfortable? Does it make you nervous? Fill me in.
I really like how you changed the 3 different ways, like having a different message for like following, liking, and stories. Because I feel like for myself, I was sending the same type of message and just changing like, oh, thanks for watching my story or my post or whatever. But to really make it more specific to the person kind of thing and not send out the mass messages and everything.
Cool. And, when it comes to how many invites you send, that really depends on what your goals for the business are. And I really liked on the National Wake Up Call, not this week, but last week, where she said, she started with 30-something invites and now is up to 62. So I want to share my number with you guys. I send out 50 new invites a day, 4 to 5 days a week. So I personally don't count my follow-ups in invites. That's a separate category. But I did realize that 2 weeks ago, she includes her follow-ups in that 62 or in that 30. So pick a number that is not overwhelming, but that does challenge you, and push for that number. And then it's personal preference if you want to include follow-ups in that number or not. That's totally up to you. But I really recommend picking a number that scares you a little bit, but doesn't make you panic and paralyzed to not take action. Because if you do have goals of building this business, you need to kind of up the ante to get further from where you are to where you want to be. So we can talk one-on-one on setting what that number might be, and keeping it realistic. But basically, building your following, building your network, as you guys know, that's a separate part of your power hour. It's a separate part of your day. So you shouldn't be running out of people to invite, because you should be consistently every single day adding more people to your network. That doesn't mean that you're adding 50 people a day. Last year, I definitely couldn't have done 50 people a day. But when I first started really seeing growth, it wasn't a crazy high number. It was 10 to 15 people a day, but every single day. And it's just that consistency that adds up. And then the more that your business changes, the more that your inviting technique is going to change, the more people you're going to be inviting. And it's just going to be a different system. But the main trend that I'm seeing is social media is changing. There's a lot more people in business on social media. And so people tend to be more wary when you are simply a stranger that's engaging with them, rather than when you're just like, hey, this is my business. This is what I have to offer. It's totally cool if you're not interested, but like, this is what I'm on social media for. And then your relationships really grow after that invite, because if they say no, that doesn't mean you are done with them and you dead them. You're following each other on social media or follow them back, but you can still engage and keep in touch. And that's why you really need to remove the emotion from their response to your invite. The biggest pushback that I get from people with this inviting technique is that they say you're not building a relationship, but that's the start of building it. And you want your closest relationships to be with your challengers and your team. Like, that's where that bond and that trust comes from. I'm all about making friends, but the reality of it is that we often, especially if you've made a separate Instagram account for Beachbody, it is your business. And so when we start really treating it like a business, that's when we get business results. So there's no store owner that's walking around their town buying people coffee and complimenting their shirts, hoping that they're going to come into their store one day. They're doing advertisements, or they're asking people if they can help them when they come in, and they're offering value in the store. So it's really just that shift of saying, like, the community of this business is incredible, but it is your business. So don't be afraid to go right for the invite. Like I said, if they're following you, it's not cold. They're following you. They chose to follow you. So it's kind of just shifting that mindset and breaking through that barrier. And also feeling comfortable with what you're saying. So that's why it's important to tweak the language to be how you would speak, because the reason people feel icky about sending invites like that is because they're using somebody else's script, and it needs to be your own voice. If you write to people the way that you would talk to any of us, now that we all know each other and are friends, you wouldn't feel weird, because you would just be being yourself. So I shared what I sent so you guys can get an idea, but I certainly don't mean copy and paste what I wrote, especially if you don't talk that way. So I think it's just a big shift, and it's a shift that we're seeing across the board in the business. And I think it should make us feel excited that this technique, something that we've been talking about as a team for a while, is now being shared by top coaches in the network. Like, ding, 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 we're doing something right. This is huge. So really capitalize on that, because nothing works forever. So we use what works until it doesn't work anymore, and then we transition. Cool.
That was great.
Thanks for hopping on.
Absolutely. I think it was very helpful for me to kind of understand having a system for doing things. I think that's like my biggest, where I lack the most. And in my head, it's like going around and around and around thinking, what should I do? How can I put it in place? But I feel like I didn't have structure. And so this helped a lot, because, yeah, like Leah said, I didn't even think about reaching out to people from the different ways that they interact with us.
I'm so glad that was helpful.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too, and this is something that took me a while as like a newer coach to learn, but so often, especially because I know I do, I think a lot of you guys do too, we follow like these top coaches, right? Like I follow Chelsea and Ali Upham and Jamie and these incredible coaches who are at a very different stage in their business than I am, or than any of us are, where they could put up a post that says, hey, do you want to join my next virtual boot camp, or do you want to join my challenge group? And they might get 50 comments or messages from people who say like, yes, 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 yes. So maybe they don't need to send out these invites, but I'm telling you, the way that they got to that point is by doing this. So you want to put up some posts with call to actions, but you don't want to just put it up and sit back and wait for people to come to you. You need to be actively reaching out to people. And then when you do get to the point where you put up a post like that and 50 people are like, sign me up, I want to join with you, you're going to be like, this is amazing. I worked my ass off to get to this phase, and it's going to feel so much better. But I think that's the trap we all fall into. And we're like, well, so-and-so does this, and look at all the comments she got, or look at all the votes that she got. And it's like, maybe, but I guarantee you before they got to that point, these coaches were reaching out and talking to people constantly. So it's on us, the business owner, to reach out and find clients and not just wait for them to come in. Lucky for us, it takes people like half a second to click follow, and there's your open door to start a conversation. So kind of just shifting that fear of this is a cold invite to like, well, no, it's not. I put up this post, I share what I'm doing, I'm really open about what my job is, and that's why we can invite this way. And then like still you can say they have a cute dog if they have a cute dog. I'm not saying you can't have those conversations. I'm just saying it's a lot different now to have a stranger message you and say something like that if you've never spoken before. And at least if it were me, I would much rather somebody just get to the point. Like, are you reaching out to me because you want to be my internet best friend, or are you reaching out to me because you're selling something? And I'm an impulse shopper, so like I'll probably buy it if you just present it to me, but like I need to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that is all I have. Like I said, tomorrow's training will be similar. I might try to make my slides look a little prettier, but I don't really know how to do that. It's not my thing, so I'll probably stay super simple. But if you have any feedback or questions that came up or anything that you want me to cover tomorrow, just let me know and I'll make sure to add it.
Thank you.
Cool. I love you guys. I will see you soon.